Today we're looking at Destiny reacting to the Minnesota ICE shooting, where federal agents killed a woman in her car on January 7th. The video shows the officer was already clear when he fired, but Trump and DHS claim she tried to ram them while stuck in snow. Asmongold celebrates it as justified, while Destiny explains why this is an execution, not self-defense. The same conservatives who screamed about government tyranny now cheer federal agents killing citizens. Destiny breaks down the legal standards and exposes the lies.
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Colonel Schaefer of the Minnesota National Guard, and Colonel bozo of the Minnesota State Patrol. This morning we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV, and today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident, but we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other. To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this. Please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi.
When you retire, can you do consulting for all of these people's fucking audio setups? No, because apparently I was arrogant and stupid when I said that a lot of professionals suck at it, so don't worry, they're all perfect.
You know, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
What, do we know yet what the original stop was for? Like why all the videos start like with the car just kind of like pulling out. We don't know. Like there's one world where it's justified. And the only world is like if this person had like just done a shooting or just committed a crime, or you thought this was like if they were like a violent felon that was fleeing like for some violent warrant or something, like you would have justification to shoot a person like that trying to flee. Like if you thought they just like murdered somebody. But I mean, like nothing here. It looks even remotely indicative of that.
I was just getting up and I heard a bunch of commotion and whistling outside, and then I heard bang, 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 3 shots. I went to go look out the window and it looked like there's a Honda over there that crashed, and I found out it was an observer that got shot and killed, and I saw them carry it. I got a bunch of video of them carrying the body to the ambulance and stuff. So it was an observer that got shot at an ICE raid of the house next door.
I'm sure that was...
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
What the fuck? Dude, what the fuck?
For what?
I mean, like, it's kind of crazy to just have federal officers just murdering citizens in their cars for, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I mean, it seems a little bit, I don't know, it seems a little bit crazy to me. Maybe a little bit, maybe it seems a little bit wacky and wild. I don't even know I don't know what perk this guy is running to take out his gun so fast or just roll up and kill somebody basically instantly, but... Like, they must have already identified her and wanted her to make an arrest because she's trying to wave them through and they're saying no, so they want to get out and arrest her. I just don't know what was leading up to this, but I seriously doubt, again, unless they saw her committing like a violent crime or thought she had like a weapon or was going to commit a violent crime, like...
No!
Where does this guy come from? I feel like this guy just like phases into reality.
No! No! Shit!
Jesus. Was this the guy? Was he in that SUV? This is the other angle that right-wingers use to try to prove it was self-defense. Jesus. Isn't this like crazy against protocol as well? Like shooting through the car with people standing behind it is putting people in danger. No, not really. For cops can just shoot at fucking anything, bro. You gotta reprogram your brain when you're dealing with like there's like 4 rules to handling a firearm. If you're like an ordinary human being, or if you're in the military, but for cops, it's just fucking spray and pray, baby. Spray and pray. What do you think of the odds of them getting off on this are? I have no clue. Because now it's a very odd situation because I imagine Minnesota would want to be the state that would charge them in whatever district this is. But Trump and the federal government obviously wouldn't want them charged. It's state charges. The state would have the right to arrest them, I think. I don't actually know. I don't know what the procedure is for arresting. I don't even know what laws are at play there. My guess is going to be there's a lot of weird interactions here that probably are ordinarily never brought up before. Like you can't arrest a cop for a crime who does something in the commission of his job unless he's so far outside of bounds, which is going to be up to some level of interpretation, of course. Like Derek Chauvin got charged, obviously. But here it's not up to just the prosecutor to decide. Here it's a conflict of jurisdiction as well, right? Because it's federal and state. I have no idea I don't even know how this would proceed or what this would look like. I don't know how it works in the U.S., but shooting at a fleeing suspect is beyond the pale. No. There are good reasons and times where you want to shoot at a fleeing suspect. Typically, it's if they are fleeing from committing a violent crime, or if there's a reason to believe this person is like armed and dangerous, right? If some dude, is suspected of killing a few people in a house and he's running out and he's trying to escape, it's understandable and acceptable to shoot this person as they're fleeing. But for things like fleeing like a parking ticket or whatever, you don't typically open fire on shit like that, or less than like misdemeanor crimes. I don't think so. Quick Asmongold take on this. Oh boy.
Wow. And then he shoots her. Gotcha, bitch. And then he shoots her a couple more times to finish her off. Yep. It's just completely 100% justified. Absolutely rip fucking bozo. Anybody watching this clip, and again, you think about if you're the police officer, you hear the engine revving, you hear the wheels spinning, and the car is going directly.
I think this was like 8 months ago, or I don't know how many months. Oh yeah, this was 8 months ago.
Even see him, he's not. You can even see him. He's not really would defend Trump executing U.S. citizens for arbitrary reasons if he started doing it. And so this is just basically. Destiny creates a false narrative. He creates a hypothetical situation.
We're not creating a false narrative, though. The whole impetus for this clip was you saying that, of course, Donald Trump rescinded the tariffs because it was a great negotiating tactic a day after you had said that the tariffs were really good. That's the joke. The joke is that you guys will defend literally contrary positions from one day to the next because there's no other way to defend the incoherent actions of this administration.
And that didn't happen, hasn't happened, and probably won't happen.
It hasn't happened yet, but if we get to that part, you'll defend it because all of the things in the past that I said would happen have happened. The administration has gotten more unhinged. When they did start deporting people, you did defend it. When they went after the rule of law and they started weaponizing the DOJ, you did say it was okay. When they said that they might deport citizens who are felons, who did I just listen to defend this year? I think it was off stream. It was somebody on Peace Coast stream where some guy was like, yeah, if there are U.S. citizens that are felons, maybe we should deport them. This guy on what a Peace Coast stream. I don't know, maybe Asman has defended that. He would in the future, Garrett fucking did. The whole joke is that there's no line with you guys. You will defend anything. And you've demonstrated that up to this point. Anything that the administration does, you'll defend or say it's an epic meme.
In order to justify acting insane, right? He's
acting insane, by the way, is saying mean jokes online. Like you've become the woke leftist now, but I understand it now, right? Because being mean and all of that has nothing to do with being mean. It's just an expression of who's in control at that particular moment in time. Who has the power, I guess, right? And in Asmongold's audience's eyes, like he has the power right here. He can dictate who you can be mean to and who you can't be mean to. And so that's where I guess this comes from.
It's just made up this
whatever, I guess. I don't know.
What other people are saying, you should be glad you're not banned. So the fact is, and he's going to, eventually he will pop off because I think that Destiny has become increasingly more.
Keep in mind, wait.
More unhinged. And also before I go, he will pop off because I think that Destiny has become increasingly more unhinged. And also before I go into this anymore, no, of course I would not support Trump assassinating and killing people for random reasons. Like
oh, hold that right there. Oh, well, he kind of qualified it for random reasons, right? Because they'll always make up a reason. But hold it here. We'll see in 6 months if Trump is still around and he started killing people yet. What the excuse he gives away on this is
random arbitrary reason.
This whole thing of Asmongold covering me, saying that I'm unhinged, had to do that firefighter thing, by the way, 8 months ago. That's what the whole country and world and all the death threats and the SWATs and the doxings and everything else that happened to me was because I think of that joke I made. Or I don't know if it was a joke. I don't even know what people were mad at. And here we are now. Kind of crazy, huh? Pretty weird.
Asmongold immediately calls this a justified shooting and says rip bozo before any facts are even known about what happened. This is someone getting killed by federal agents, and his first instinct is to celebrate it like it's a video game kill. The video clearly shows the officer was already out of the path of the vehicle when he fired. He actually leans over the car to shoot through the windshield. Police don't get to execute people for not following orders. There has to be an imminent threat of death or serious bodily harm. Creating your own danger by standing in front of a car and then claiming self-defense doesn't work legally.
Kind of crazy, huh? Pretty weird. Kind of weird.
Trying to call this, I can't with these people trying to call this a murder and all that shit. Well, hey, maybe they shouldn't be in front of the car. The thing is that you're never going to convince these people that it's not, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go, like, after you say, basically, after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it, and you send in more people, and you do it even more. That's the only solution. That you're never going to win these people over. You're never going to explain it to them. You're never going to be like, oh, well, why won't you see my point of view? Because they don't want to. Why not just shoot the tires? So that way you make the car unsafe?
Who was I? What did I say again to get permanently banned from this platform for my extremist rhetoric? What was it again?
And some other innocent bystander can get hurt indiscriminately because the person didn't follow the law? Nah, bro, you shoot them right in the fucking face. They said to stop the car. They said not to do this. They said to get out. And she's walking around, driving around. What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You shoot him right in the fucking head. That's it. Aim for the legs. Yeah, bro. Aim for the legs. Oh, my God. Some of these people not thinking about this at all, bro. In the vehicle, from what I saw, I mean, barely, maybe. He barely got away. And, yeah, he pulled the gun on her and he shot her. Yeah, the thing is, like, how is it even that close? Like, even if you think that, like, that's what happened, what are you talking about? They told her to get out of the car. She almost ran him over. Are you going to expect somebody to make, you know, a decision like that in 1/10 of a second whenever somebody's like actively basically trying to run them over?
Really?
If somebody did this to an average person and they shot him, I'd say rip bozo. The fact is, this is just what happens.
Was that
they
what
told her to
happened?
get out of the car. Did she get out of the car? No, she didn't. She did something that, I mean, I looked at it. It seemed like to me that, yeah, it's somebody trying to run over a police officer, number one.
Okay.
And number two, she disobeyed a direct order. And who knows what somebody like that is going to do? And this is a big issue that a lot of people don't understand, is that they don't understand the butterfly effect of allowing a person who is a criminal like that to just escape away in a speeding vehicle after immediately trying to run over a police officer. You don't know if that person's going to run somebody else over, if they're going to lose control of the car, if they're going to go and do this somewhere else, etc., right?
What was I arguing with Ricada about before? It's so crazy. All of these people who hated cops, hated the police, loved their First Amendment rights, thought that the government was too strong. There's such cocksucks for everything having to do with this administration. First, whether she's trying to run over the officer or not isn't relevant to the analysis. Second, even if she is running away, she's fleeing at high speed in a community and becomes a danger to the community. I didn't know you could get assassinated for speeding. Are there signs in Minnesota that say that? Cops might snipe? Is that a thing in Minnesota? It might be. I've only been to Minneapolis a couple times. I don't remember seeing those signs there. Maybe it is. Third, back to the analysis. Is the officer who fired reasonably in fear of serious bodily harm? You can't put yourself in the way of serious bodily harm and then use that as a justification for self-defense. Legally, that doesn't even work. It's a Honda Pilot on a wet street. How fast is she going? Is this Ford v Ferrari? What the fuck is happening out here? Sorry. Okay. People will tell you, the same people will tell you Ashli Babbitt climbing through a window towards politicians at the front of an angry mob that's chanting about hanging the vice president, that she was innocently killed or she died an innocent person. Meanwhile, this woman needed to be taken out.
Oh, he's mad. You know what? This is what I said. I think you have to go in. You have to invoke the Insurrection Act. You have to crush these people. You put them in jail. You put them up on charges for sedition, treason, everything that you possibly can. And then you put them as like an accomplice for like any sort of like anything that you can throw at them, you do it. You totally crucify these people and you make it to where their lives will no longer be the same ever again. That's the goal. Because what these people are doing, and by the way, this isn't me being bloodthirsty or extreme or...
Oh, okay.
aggressive. And let me explain the reason why. What these people are doing is they are incentivizing violence, aggression, people breaking the law, illegal immigration, and every type of bad behavior that comes out of that. That's fundamentally what happens, is that these people are creating chaos.
So if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
Governor Ron DeSantis there cracking down on potential non-peaceful protests. In a podcast earlier this week, the governor told Florida drivers that they can hit protesters if they need to, quote, flee for their safety. NBC6's political reporter Steve Litz explains the governor's stern warning.
The violence and protests in California prompted Florida's governor to go on the Rubin Report podcast with this message.
If you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you.
Ron DeSantis with a warning in advance of tomorrow's anti-Trump No Kings rallies.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Hundreds are planned nationwide.
Just protesters. That's who you can run over, guys.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them.
Wait, hold on, I'm getting baited. Who linked this? I'm banning you, I'm perma-banning you. This isn't about the thing today. This must be about another thing. This can't possibly be about today. Right? This is an earlier thing? Is the weather appropriate? What is this? This can't possibly be about today. There's no shot.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers. You asked
I've disputed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer, who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. Did he even get ran over? Like, was his foot or whatever? Did anything even happen at all? The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do the job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this radical left movement of violence and hate. Wait, this isn't the shooting cop, is it? Oh no, there it is. Okay.
Kristi Noem immediately calls this domestic terrorism and says the woman tried to ram officers. But the video shows that's completely false. They claim they were stuck in snow and she attacked them, but there's no snow visible anywhere in the footage. Trump posts that the woman was a professional agitator who viciously ran over an officer, but the officer wasn't hit at all and was completely out of the way. This is the administration lying in real time to justify an execution because they know their base will believe whatever they say. Notice how they pivot from the actual facts to talking about how hard law enforcement has it and how the radical left is threatening them.
Man, he looks so threatened right there. What is he? He's already completely out of the way before he even shoots. It looks like? He was 99% out of the way. No, I think he was 100% out of the way. Or like his feet were. I don't think he was... Like, keep in mind too, I think it's like the video's a little deceptive in that it might kind of look like, because it's like dark and the wheel is like black, maybe she's like heading in this direction, but this wheel is like fully turned to the right. Like this car is going like in the other, like is moving in that direction. Like it's not even close. Jesus. What info do they have on this person? Did a single shot go through the windshield, or were all of them through the driver's side? There's a bullet hole in the front windshield. Oh, so we have one bullet hole in the front windshield. But he's like leaning over for it. You can see it here. Oh, it doesn't even... Yeah, like by the time he shoots, he's like leaning over the fucking car to do it.
That seems to be like really difficult to imagine that he thought that. Now, like, you tell me what you think, but
yeah, you know, that's right.
Human beings, there's like latency. There's like, you know, we make decisions and it takes us a second to actually act on those decisions. Do you think he's going to be able to convince a jury that even though he was clear of the car, like technically he made the decision when she was still kind of, because there is a moment where he is like right in front of her car and she starts to move forward. And I assume a police officer in that spot would probably tell a jury, at that point I decided that my life was in danger. But then we'd slow
really though?
Slow it down and it's like 4.5 seconds from the time she starts moving forward to the first shot. I mean, that seems like, that's kind of a long time, you know? So that seems like quite a delayed fuse. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
No, I think that you have the right instinct to be like, well, I don't agree with a lot of other stuff that's kind of tangential to the issue. And I would like everything you said, I think I agree with, which is you shouldn't back up. You shouldn't you should like comply, right? Which is kind of our take. Like, I don't have a problem with saying that. And then, yeah, I think your vision of what occurred when the first shot took place, that is that he was cleared from being in the path of it when the first shot was taken. That's my interpretation, regardless of whether there is a contact.
Wait, as in like the first shot was justified?
With the car at a low speed,
no,
bumping into him as she's turning to the right. I mean, that to me is not indication that someone's life is in serious risk of, or they're in serious risk of serious bodily injury. So yeah, I think our factual interpretation is similar. Even putting that aside, it's not just a subjective inquiry. We don't just ask, did I actually think my life was in danger?
That's what a reasonable person thinks.
See, is there an objectively reasonable consideration that your life was in peril? That's the question. It's not just a subjective test. It's also objective. And so regardless of whether he subjectively thought his life was in danger, we analyze it from the perspective of an objectively reasonable officer. And it is kind of like breaking down in a timeline the different events and what an objectively reasonable officer would have apprehended at each particular point in time. And so I think that with respect to what a jury will find, who the fuck knows? If there actually is a charge, maybe we can consider it then. If I were on the jury, given the facts I have now, I would be like, it's so clear that his life isn't in danger, that he's not at risk of any.
This is the correct law take. I've never heard the word objective used that way. Like the reasonable person standard is an objective standard. Maybe it is, if multiple subjectivities, or I don't know. My understanding of the reasonable person standard is like if a reasonable person would have thought that their life would have been in danger or they would have been at risk of serious bodily harm, that's the standard you use. Objectively, I don't think it matters whether or not it is or isn't. It's whether or not a reasonable person would have thought that. But maybe that's what objective means are. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
The timeline completely destroys the self-defense argument because there's 4.5 seconds between when the car starts moving and when he shoots. That's not a split-second decision. That's enough time to step aside, which he actually does before firing. You can't put yourself in harm's way and then use that as justification to kill someone. That's not how self-defense works, even for police officers. The reasonable person standard asks if an objective observer would think your life was in danger. And when you're already clear of the vehicle, leaning over to shoot, no reasonable person would say that. This is why we have these legal standards instead of just letting cops shoot anyone who doesn't instantly comply.
Both aspects of that matter, but it doesn't matter. Like, if I walk up to a person with an empty gun, objectively, there is zero threat to their life. They can never be killed unless I start beating with a gun, right? But if I point the gun at somebody and I shoot, you're never doing an objective analysis of like, well, was their life actually in danger? That's just never happening. It doesn't matter. It's like the reasonable person standard. But also, I also think the reasonable standard here probably also changes with respect to the fact that they're cops as well, right? So I'm sure they have some elevated duty or responsibility to not, in some cases, they're putting themselves in more danger. In other cases, they should be avoiding it. Destiny, it's how I was taught in law school that the reasonable person test is an objective one. Okay, it might be. Because subjective maybe just implies like your personal feelings and objective is more appealing to like an external test. Maybe. It might be. You're acting in bad faith when you watch the video of the shooting. You are clearly and obviously looking at the first ICE agent and ignoring the second agent in the background in front of the car and in potential danger. Potential danger is not a good reason to execute somebody, buddy. Should a cop avoid stepping in front of a vehicle of someone they plan on detaining or arresting? I mean, I would say so, yeah. Unless this person is like under suspicion of having committed a violent crime or something. Or is fleeing after having committed, or is like at large or, not at large, is like armed and dangerous. Should each gunshot be justified independently? Not in that quickly of a succession. If the first shot is justified, then the next two are almost certainly justified.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Did he just say call 911? Shouldn't they do that?
Shame! 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 Shame!
Pisco said each needs individual justification. I mean, like, my guess is going to be like by the book or in theory, maybe, but like the way that it would play out is if you can justify the first one, you're probably going to be able to justify the next, all of the rest of them. Is most likely how it's going to go. In this quick of a succession is going to be my guess. Now, if it was like one and then like a minute later he fired twice and then a third time, then maybe. But like when it's like 1, 2, 3 like that, I don't know if you'd have to justify every single bullet. Like for the Rittenhouse verdict, or imagine for most like self-defense cases, you're looking at like basically if you lose on the first event, you're probably fucked on the rest. If you win on the first event, you're probably going to succeed on the rest, generally speaking. I think it happened with that Apple River stabbing or whatever. Destiny, I guarantee you stepping in front of a car and drawing is a form of depart arrest procedure. This was absolutely a justified shooting in the eyes of the law. I guess we'll see. I didn't know that you could execute. Why was she even being arrested? We don't have any information about what led up to them even like trying to open her door and everything too. You can't execute somebody just because they don't follow an order. That's not how that works. You can get in trouble for not following lawful orders, and in certain situations a cop might shoot you and be fully justified, you know, legally and morally for doing so.
You are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck?
She was just blocking them. It was a house raid. Why? This is why I can't do breaking news. Like, what you guys are all the shit you guys are saying. None of you even know anything about this. I don't think we have any idea what. I know we don't know what was happening because none of you fucking readers have linked the story. You're all just like making up your own stories for all of it. What do you mean blocking? It doesn't look like she was blocking at all. Or if she was, I don't understand it. Because these guys, it looks like she's trying to wave them through. Number one, what do you mean house raid? How does she even know that they're going to do a house raid? It's an unmarked vehicle. They have their lights on now, but also like she's not even blocking them. They can just go to the left or the right. This looks like, I don't know if this is a school or maybe this is just a larger side street. I don't know what building they're in front of. Like they can, like you're just making shit up. Oh my god. Why were they trying to open her car? It sounds like you wanted to detain her, but I don't know what for. I have no idea. I don't know what was happening leading up to this. Like these guys. Here's the thing that I'm comfortable saying. Not really, but I'm more comfortable than any of the fucking shit you retards are making up. Her car is identified. Like they have information about her being problematic. I don't know why or what's going on. Oh, this is the other cop here because these people that come to arrest her or detain her, they're not responding to her blocking here. They're rolling up to arrest her. That's what's going on. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what was preceding this, and I haven't seen anybody link a story or give any information preceding this, but they already had identified her and came here to at least detain her.
No! Dude, what's happening to her?
She's dead. I shouldn't be laughing. Wait, is this about to get... It's unfortunate, but a car is 100% treated as a deadly weapon by law enforcement, and that is a long list of legal precedent. Yeah, but you can't just step in front of a car and start shooting. You can't do that. I'm pretty sure there's an obligation. Somebody linked a story earlier. Like if you can move out of the way, I think you have an obligation to move out of the way. You can't just put yourself in front of a car and start shooting, unless the person has like a warrant out for some kind of like deadly crime, or you have a reason to believe that they could commit like further violent acts or something, or if they're fleeing from having committed like a deadly crime or whatever.
Yeah, it's a fucking crime. We fucking know it. We're here.
Jesus, what's going on here?
Yeah, like what the absolute fuck, man? What the absolute fuck? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? This is the time, man. This is the time to have a conscience. This is not okay. This is not okay.
A little bit late for that.
Get a fucking conscience!
Can you look at me and tell me you're doing the right thing? Get the fuck out of here, bro! You didn't
Yeah, where were they stuck in the snow here? Can somebody point me to the snowbank that they were trapped in?
In the head. In the head. And she drove into the murderer.
You! Look at me! You can't even...
Watch out, man! Watch out!
Why don't you look at me? I thought you could do it! You owe your
You okay, mommy?
Again, right? And so this is another example, right? Destiny obviously is, of course, chirping about this and crying.
Chirping, he's literally turning into Hassan. Nice.
Basically the first thing he sees somebody get shot, and the first thing he does is he thinks about me.
I see somebody get shot, and the first thing I do is I think about all the people that have been hamming up the violent rhetoric in the United States of America and supporting federal agents killing U.S. citizens. It is true. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do think about the current political, social environment that I exist inside. That's correct.
Do you think government's responsible for not fixing this originally? Actually, yes. I do.
They should have fucking killed them in the crib. They should have arrested them first. They should have sent the National Guard already.
I think that Trump and the DHS and ICE are responsible because they've allowed these ICE protests to escalate to where people feel comfortable and they feel like it's an acceptable behavior to use their car to obstruct law enforcement. The fact is
no
that
idea what's going on
if
in
they
this
had
video,
shut
though.
this down originally at the very beginning, this woman would probably still be alive. She would be, and I'll explain why. It's because she would have known that, oh my God, if I do this, I could lose my life. I could instantly fucking die or I could get arrested and put in jail or something like that happen.
This incident represents how quickly authoritarianism normalizes when people are conditioned to support it. We went from conservatives opposing federal overreach to celebrating federal agents executing citizens in months. The administration lies about what happened, right-wing media amplifies the lies, and the base accepts it because the victim was presumably on the other side. This is how democracies die, not with jackboots and tanks, but with people cheering as their own rights get stripped away as long as it hurts the right people. Every authoritarian regime in history relied on a base of supporters who thought strong leaders should crush their enemies without legal constraints. These same people will act shocked when these powers inevitably get used against them or their communities. The lesson of history is that once you normalize extrajudicial killings by the state, there's no limiting principle to stop it from expanding.